Thank you. All right. Okay. So said we want to talk. She want to talk about a friend that made a decision to separate after 9 years of abuse, and the kids are becoming aware, and she's concerned about raising them in that toxic space. She had sacrificed her career to the husband to advance in his career because they had to relocate twice. She only got back into the workforce this year, trying to get her life back together. Her husband agreed to the separation initially, but backed out. She desperately needs help and would like to be discussed. She feels he's trying to bully her to staying back because she is not financially capable. She doesn't want to succumb to the pressure, but she's scared of what the future holds. What would you advise her to do? Because the husband is not willing to make the marriage work, by the way. And the kids, and he also wants the kids, because he said that he would wait for the kids to grow up, then they can go their separate ways. So meaning he will stay in the marriage till the kids grow up, then they can divorce. So she needs our help. So what would be?
Okay.
There is an abuse in the relationship.
Yes, I heard that clearly now. So about 9 years of abuse in the relationship.
Yeah.
She's concerned about the kids' mental health. And there's been relocation like twice, and and her husband wants the kids, and she's concerned about what the future holds.
Yeah.
Well, a concern about the kids' mental health, I think that's a very valid one, because I don't know how old the kids are, and being raised in that, what she said, as she said, that toxic environment is really going to, in the long run, will not be of good to any of them. Not the woman in question, not the father, and the children themselves. So it's a major thing to consider. Now, we know what the husband wants. The husband wants the kids. I mean, that came out so loudly. The question will be that, what does she want in all of this? What does she want now, as we speak right now? Because these are the realities. It's been 9 months of abuse in the relationship. I mean, the kids are struggling with tension, things that can come up to become adverse childhood experiences for them. They've had relocations twice. We don't know how many more times it will happen. I mean, trying to have a balanced life now, right? So we want to know, what does she want right now as an individual? The place of the kids are a total separate thing from this point, really, because we need to pull out the kids and really we need to think of their mental health. But you need to start from her first, because if she's not together, if she's not in the right frame, she can't even make these changes that is necessary in her interest and in the interest of the kids. So the question is, what does she want? That's one valid question she needs to answer now. So from what she wants, that's where we will work from. We will now say, okay, now we can clearly now craft out the part of the kids, where the kids come in, because whatever we do, the kids they are also major factors to consider. But first of all, it starts from her. If we must help the kids, she needs to be in the right mental frame of mind. It's easy for me to say our mental health is the first thing she needs to consider and all that. Well, maybe this is driving towards that, but it's essential that she gives that response. What does she want? Does she want to stay? Does she want to leave? Does she want to relocate? Does she want to, there are many options, and you'll be amazed what's important to her right now. Because whatever decision she makes now, if it's not coming from what she truly wants, it will be working countercurrent for her. So she needs to come to that place of, what does she want now?
Okay, Councillor Tayo, I'm getting a real live response to your question as well. So the children are 7, 5, and 2, and she wants out, right? She wants to move on.
Okay.
So she wants to move on, but some religious sentiment seems to be a worry for her, and also financial constraint. But she really wants to move on with her life.
Okay, so if she wants out of the relationship, then the question will then be, has she considered the possibilities around this action? Moving out of the marriage, yes, it's a decision she is coming to. Now, the other factors to consider, where she's moving on to temporarily, or has she made, what arrangements has she made as to where she's going to go to. Then the kids, who takes care of the kids? How will the kids be taken care of? That's also very important. Then what is life, going to look like for her? Just like a mental play of possibilities after she leaves. At the end of the day, leaving the marriage, she wants to be in a good place in her mind after coming up with that decision. She's decided to do it, and she believes that this is what will give her, a sense of well-being for herself. And she believes that, okay, this will also go out well with the kids. So the possibilities that surround, or the eventualities, the things that surround you leaving, she needs to be aware of those things and be very clear about them. And once that is taken care of, she's sorted where the kids will be, what the kids' lots will be. She is not the only equation now in the equation of moving out. The kids are moving. What would it be? Would it be that the man will be saying, no, because I heard the man wants the kids, would the man be saying, okay, I want my kids in my house? All of those things all of those questions needs to be raised, and they need to be seen. They need to be tabled. They need to be addressed before this move is eventually made, so that once she moves and she leaves, she's not leaving to wishing, that she hadn't left. So that decision of, she has decided she wants to leave. Now, what is life after moving going to look like for her? What's the lot of the children? What's the plan for the children? Where is she moving to? All of those questions we need to answer, and then the process can begin.
Councillor Tayo, all right. So I also left my marriage, and the question of where do I want to move to, well, didn't even occur to me. It is kind of like uncertainty, kind of, right? And yeah, well, she said something, because I know some women really want, when we say this is like DV victim somehow, right? And domestic violence victim.
Yeah.
We've been hearing a lot of this, and I think what's it called? She said they've already made an arrangement, and the husband is not even making any financial commitments, and neither is it trying to hold back the kids. So sometimes, when we find ourselves in that situation, I think the first thing is just like, okay, just let us separate ourselves. I don't know if you think it that way. Like, the exit plan, of course, is very, very important, but we don't even really know what is actually ahead of us after we actually move on. We say, okay, we want to move on. But we don't know. We think we do, because even if we have the plan like this, it is not going to be the same.
Right, definitely, and apparently, yes. It's not to have it all mapped out. It's just to have you mentally walk through. Especially if you have a chance. From this story specifically, yes, it's been 9 years of abuse, but as the state is now, from what the story says, now she's trying to, at the tail end of the story says, she's trying to have a life balanced. So it's a sort of not like an emergency. It's not like there's a crisis. It's not like, there's a problem. But as of right now, which suggests that she probably has a bit of, leeway to walk through, just a bit mentally, just walk through and move through this process, especially because she appears to have a bit of time, she appears to have a bit of time to do that. If he was in the situation where there's threats to life right now, there's threats to sanity like right now, then it's an intervention. We will be saying, please move out for your own safety right now. At least first, be safe. But as is right now, there's a bit of, it appears there's a bit of a room to actually think through. And we have 2 kids in question. 3. It requires her to be a bit, at least for her kids and all that. It will be good for her to actually be able to just walk through mentally this process. And if she can walk through this process, with a therapist, it will also be a good idea, especially because she has now decided to move on with her life.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah, because it's actually doing my body somehow. All right. I know, Simi, you raised your hand, but I want to get Sister Nike's perspective on this, please.
Oh, sorry, I already started typing in the chat because of time. So I said, I believe safety is important when we're talking about domestic violence. Depending on where the lady lives, like Sadironke said, the best of laid out. So a couple of things I think about when somebody is in a position of uncertainty and fear. Yeah, thorough planning is good, but I don't think her mental state, I think even with what I've heard, I think she's done very well to have laid out the plans on what she wants to do next. I look at the situation with the husband as a necessary ending. I feel like the guy, the story, the part of love is no longer there. If he's saying, I'm just in this for the kids. And I also see the husband as being selfish because he doesn't want anything to do with the woman, but he wants her to hold on until the kids grow up. It's more like, you've sacrificed your career and put all you have into this relationship, but it doesn't matter. Just keep putting more while I be on the receiving end. And then, there's this thing that I believe our generation and a lot of growth has happened in the society with being able to support and embrace women who are in this kind of scenario. So even in Nigeria, even in African countries. So I don't know where this person is located, but one of the first things I would say is diligently search for an organization that supports women who are in this particular scenario. Support meaning, giving you guidance, some financial support, some form of mental support, like ability. You can meet women with like mind and learn from them. How did they get through their process? And then, from there, just begin to pick things up and just walk your way back. The truth is, there is nobody that has never made a mistake, but some mistakes may be bigger than some others. But I don't believe that there is any mistake that we can't walk back from. I think the first thing is just understanding that this is a necessary ending. If you've given your all, you've given your best, and it looks like, okay, it's not turning out the way you expected. Especially, I would even say to the woman, you are blessed because God pushed the man to the point where he expressed all that he's thinking. Because there's some people who feel that way and they continue to lead the lady on. And I think 9 years is too long to endure domestic violence. We hear these things of people dying and the husband killing the wife or something happening. It could happen both ways. If a woman goes through domestic violence for 9 years, one day she's gonna snap. And these are the things that create a crime where there wasn't supposed to be. So I mean, I'm a believer. I know God hates divorce, but I also recognize that the truth is there are situations that require necessary endings. Like God will help us, but when you get to that point where you recognize that this is it, we can't go on like this. I would say, for your safety, step out. There are organizations in the society that can help you stand on your 2 feet while you try and understand. Because even these plans that you say they've laid out, it probably will not pan out that way. But at the end of the day, just knowing that, first of all, I want to keep myself alive for my children. These children that he wants, he doesn't even, he's not interested in keeping the kids right now. So that's where the selfishness comes in. And, you just have to, some of the things we've talked about tonight, about just, I think the first step is even accepting the situation. That woman needs to know, you know what, this marriage is going nowhere. And the longer you stay in there, the longer you're just, it's like a vicious cycle running around in circles. So
Yeah.
I would encourage the woman, seek out these organizations and take steps so that you can keep yourself safe and keep your children safe, and then prevent yourself from committing a crime. Because the truth is, you can only take so much for so long. There's going to come a day when she's going to snap. And, without the proper support, it could be disastrous. And that's my take. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 Sister Jane. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sister Jane, I think I saw
Sorry, Aderonke, can I pass up my opportunity, because I'd like to hear from someone like Simi. I don't know who else on this platform has had to take a serious decision to walk out of their marriage for their own safety and their sanity. So I'd rather have someone like Simi, who at least we've heard a bit from her, just to hear her take. I'm ready to give up my own speaking chance.
Simi, please go ahead. DOYIN, I'm going to take you after Simi, please. All right, Simi.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Jen, for letting up your spot for me. I think Ronke would know this already. I'm very passionate about women who go through domestic violence. Reason being that I used to swear that it would never happen to me. I was the type of person in college that if my friend got beaten up by a boyfriend, we are the ones that were going to beat him up. I was that kind of person. And for me to experience it firsthand, it was like a shock. It was like, so, and at one point I was like, God, are you trying to tell me never say never? Because I just felt it was above me. But that being said, Sister Nika put a lot of things rightly, like she put it really right, in the sense that you need to understand that in a domestic violence situation, there is a necessary ending, especially when it has to do with, physical abuse or emotional abuse. I went through all the forms of abuse: financial, spiritual, emotional, everything. Like, it won't let me practice my faith. It won't let me go to church. It won't let me talk to my parents. He put a camera in the house, was listening over my conversation, and a hidden camera for that matter in the house, was listening over my conversations, would know who I was talking to. If he went to work, before he got back, he would be like, you spent all your day on the phone. Like, I thought maybe he was using voodoo, because I didn't know how he knew. Even I said I was on the phone, I was sleeping. So you're lying, and it would look through my phone at night when I'm sleeping. He wouldn't sleep on the same bed with me. If I go to touch him where he's sleeping, he would, that's how I knew that this was a mental issue that he was going through. My own prognosis is psychosis. Of course, I don't know what the doctor will say, but just from all the different things that he was going through, he didn't used to sleep. He had his own mental challenges, like deep issues. if I step out of the house for work, it's calling me after 15 minutes. Why are you walking to? Why are you walking to? So let's not even go there. But I want that lady to know that, and I will say this categorically and directly, not because I know everybody's situation is different, yes, but I walked out of my marriage with $0.
I did
Then
too.
what? Yeah,
Zero
this guy
net.
had he had my card, and the card had money on it. But I was ready to dash him that money
My God.
for the sake of my sanity. Because when a man starts making threats to you that I'm gonna kill you, or see this guy, oh my God, like it was cold. It was just something like, you just died, you know, like, and even laugh over it, like chuckle, that kind of evil chuckle. So she's the one that knows what made that decision in the first place. She's the one that knows what she went through in the hands of that man. Now she needs to ask herself that question. And the question is my financial safety, which I guarantee you may not even have. If it wasn't, if you were in his house for 9 years and he was abusive to you, what makes you feel that you going back is going to give you any financial safety? Now, if you're the one that knows what you went through in that house for 9 years, and I really wish I could be speaking to her directly now, I would say, you know what you went through. Do you want to continue going through that? If the answer is yes, then you can go back. But if the answer is no, I get it, Councillor Tayo. You're talking from a professional aspect. I love that. But sometimes, like Ronke said, even looking at the possibilities can scare you and make you stay in that relationship. And that's what happens to a lot of women going through domestic violence. They've seen that possibility. How will I cope with 3 children? How will I get out of this situation? I can't do it in this country. Where will I put the kids? How will I work? Sometimes I get it, I know. It's good to think about those things, write it down, but sometimes the fear of the unknown. Just step out. Launch into the deep. Like, if you think about what's in the deep, you would never launch into it.
Hey.
Launch into the deep. Take that leap of faith.
Say that again. If you think
about what's in the deep, you will never launch into it.
Exactly.
Take that leap of faith. And that's what I'll be telling this lady today. For the sake of your children, do you know that women, boys especially, and women who grow up in abusive homes, think that women, for the ladies, they believe that that's how a man can express love to them. And for the men, they believe that that's how they can gain control. So for the sake of your children, move out and stay out. Now, I always say that divorce may not be the absolute
solution.
Stop. But there is a necessary ending in that you must be separated. And that separation can continue for as long as you decide that, okay, now it's going to be divorced. Now I'm going to go back. But there are a lot of factors that need to be put in place. There are different things that need to happen. Like, first of all, is the guy admitting that he has done you wrong? Is he agreeing to go for therapy? Is he agreeing that he has a mental problem? These are different things. But if a man is saying, let's come back together just for the sake of the kids, maybe you know you cannot do it alone. It's not good for these kids to you can't raise a woman alone. Says who? There are so many successful people that were raised by single women. So many billionaires, influential speakers, ex-presidents that were raised by single women. Don't let nobody lie to you. You are more than capable. But one thing I must tell you is that it will be rough. But you have to remember that you are tougher than the situation. I remember this quote my daddy always tells me. In fact, he bought a plug and he put it in the living room. And I bless God that he did that. Right when you walk into our living room like this, when you look at the clock, you must see that plug. That plug, is it plug or plague? The plug, yeah. It says, tough times never last, but tough people do.
Yeah.
So she needs to keep remembering that it should be tough. It may even take 5 to 10 years for her to get herself back, but it should be worth it. She would have emotionally strong children. She would have children who don't have to go through, who would know that, okay, mommy took a stand against DV because it is not right. And they will love her for that. They will care for her. See, some people will say, oh, don't worry. Don't bother looking for the children. When the children grow up, they will look for their father. Great, that's fine. If you want to look for your daddy, that's okay. I will not paint your dad bad to you. But you will see the children. You think that children don't know? Children are not fools. We think that these kids, they don't know. Or we think that, okay, they are not so intelligent. Let me tell you something. Children, sometimes they are the best judge of character. Sometimes. I'm not saying in all cases, especially children who God has blessed with wisdom. And she needs to start praying those prayers that really matter. Remember to treat your spouse with respect and with love. And by love, I mean agape love. Remember to treat him with respect. Don't speak ill of him to your children. That's not going to serve you any good. Trust me. When the kids grow up and they're mature enough to understand the situation, they would respect you and they would know that, yes, mommy did this because of us. And they would see the man for who he really is. Don't try to block anything. If the court says, and if she lives abroad, perfect. Like Sister Nike said, there are organizations that help domestic violence people, domestic violence survivors. I don't like to call us victims. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor because my victim stage has passed. I've survived it now.
Yeah.
So in fact, everything is at your beck and call, Oh, she lives in Nigeria.
She lives in Nigeria. Okay.
Oh, but even then, there are organizations in Lagos that help. I can try and find out some of those NGOs and send it to Ronke to pass it on. There are NGOs that actually help women living in domestic violence. In fact, if she wants to prosecute the man, they will help her, they will stand by her, they will take her to a safe home, and they will prosecute him. If she wants to do that. But if she just wants to get out, there are organizations that will help her get out. Now, I know that in Nigeria is a different whole level because she will not be able to, that kind of financial support, she may not get it. But my sister,
she will survive.
She will survive. And she'll be better off. She will look back 10, 20 years from now and she'll be like, thank you, Jesus. And I want you, if she's a Christian, I want her to hold on to God. I'm telling you, there'll be days when she will cry. I still cried last week. I think just raising a toddler by myself when she's throwing her tantrums and I'm all by myself, no mom, no brother, no sister, nobody to say, help me carry this baby. I just broke down and cried. But I said, God, no. My tears is not that, oh my God, what is happening to me? My tears is, God, please help me. I need strength. I can't do it alone. But I know that you will strengthen me. I know that I will come out on the other side better and stronger. And I know that I can never regret this decision because it is the right thing to do.
Yeah,
to keep telling herself that it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Society will not agree. Her parents may not agree. She might be against the whole world, being that she lives in Nigeria. But like Mr. Nick has said, there are people in her circle that will champion her on. those are people that she needs to be talking to. She should speak less to people that are not championing her, and she should speak more to people that are championing her, you know. And I pray that God will support her. In fact, I don't know her, but I'm going to keep her in my prayers going forward.
We are here to support her, definitely. Okay, so thank you for that, Simi. Thank you very much. So I have DOYIN and Aanu for their comments. So DOYIN, in brief, okay, because I think we should be out by 12:30. My time. So
Thank
DOYIN.
you. My contribution will actually be very brief. So I just wanted to say that I've heard everything everybody said and taken it into perspective. And it is right. But I also think that we need to be careful. Like, we shouldn't just think, oh, out is the only solution. Like, domestic violence is definitely not a good thing. But I think, as the Bible says, that when two becomes one, like marriage, it doesn't like divorce. It doesn't, I'm not criticizing divorce by any way, but I'm also thinking that we shouldn't think a get out clause is the only solution, because that seems to me like the main message: just get out, get out, get out. I mean, I have a good marriage, but my parents always had issues, always growing up. And so many times my dad said exactly what the man said, that, look, I'm here because of the children. But in reality, people say that because they're shy. It's hard for a woman to come and say, okay, I love you, I want to stay with you. Of course, he has to look for something to cover up. But they're still together, like, I think it's obviously the guy needs to work on himself. But I think him making those comments, saying, let's stay for the children for 9 years. 9 years is such a long time. That's like eternity. I think that's an opportunity for them to actually work on it. If she's firm and, he can see that, well, this is a firm person. She's made a decision. If she's here now because of the children, who knows? It might work. So that's just my 1 cent. Thanks.
Okay, let me ask you this, DOYIN. All right, so at what point do you think the separation is needed?
No, I mean, from my understanding, they've already separated and he wants to come back, right?
No, she's seeking to be separated. She wants to leave.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think I mean, as the speaker before me said, sometimes you might need to go away for a while, but not divorce, just for him to know you are serious. You are not joking anymore. So I think, at the point when domestic violence comes in, you may need to separate for a while. And
okay, we are actually talking in that perspective. Actually, there is an abuse involved, and it has been on for 9 years, right?
Yeah.
And he is not seeing issue. He's not seeing anything as issue. Is even like he has already made up his mind. He wants out. However, I will for the kids. So at what point do you think separation or divorce is required?
So he had made up his mind that he wants out in 9 years' time. So to me, that doesn't sound like somebody who's made up their mind. It sounds like somebody who's bluffing.
Bluffing.
That's what I think. I think he's taking the woman for a joke and he's just bluffing. When you say sit down for 9 years, after 9 years, we all go, yeah, right. Even when you plan to stay with somebody for 3 months or 4 months, sometimes things change. 9 years is such a long time. So obviously he's taking her for a joke and she needs to be firm. She needs not to tolerate domestic violence. It's unacceptable. She might walk away for a while, pray about it, and then, at some point he will realize that he's about to lose somebody. Let me not say he will. He may realize that, look, this marriage is about to be over. Especially since he's saying, let's just stay because of the children. To me, it sounds like he potentially still wants it. So I think she has good bargaining power here. She can be firm. She could walk away for a while. The fear of losing her may be what will save the marriage and change the attitude. Because one thing we also need to consider is as much as women hurt, because we're only hearing this from a woman's perspective, men also hurt. I just read this morning of a man who committed suicide in Nigeria because his wife, they got divorced, old couple. So, he's going through some hurt as well, but we don't see that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Ronke, I'm very sorry, but I need to come in. And the reason why I need to come is because, we have so many people here, and I just need to point out some things. I think on the group, we had this discussion about domestic violence. First of all, there's a reason why people are violent towards their partners. It's an underlying issue. and it's not necessarily coming from the partner. It's because even if, for example, if you have a cantankerous woman, who just speaks, uncontrollably, you can find a man who would never hit that woman, and they will walk through that relationship, or they may even go their separate ways, but there will be no abuse involved. And you might find a man who would hit that same, like put that same woman with two different men, and their reaction will be different. So that tells you that domestic violence is not necessarily because of what is happening in the home. It's because of what is happening within the man or within the woman. And I don't want to say man alone, because women also beat their husbands. Now, because of that, when you start facing emotional or any type of abuse to the point that it is not affecting your health, you need to understand that there is imminent danger to your well-being. First of all, it might lead to death. I've seen a situation where a woman was beaten to the point of death. She did not die instantly because she was pancaked the whole thing like she usually does and went to work. Unfortunately, she was having internal bleeding. She was feeling pains, and she was like, "Oh, normal thing, ma. For me, go normal. I would rub it with hot water and balm." Apparently, it was internal bleeding. When it got so bad, she went to the hospital and she passed on. Guess what? 2 years later, the man is married. So it is important for you to understand that. See, let's not trivialize domestic violence and make it be like, oh, you know what, the man may change his mind. Yes, good. But guess what? You are not the Holy Spirit. The only one person that can change a abusive man is God. Is God. And it starts from the man himself. Trust me, it can never begin with the woman or the abused. It can never, I am telling you from experience, it can never begin with you. There's no amount of talking, negotiating, balancing, bargaining, threatening that can make an abusive partner change. They have to deal with whatever they are going through, whatever it is, whatever anger issues, anxiety, hatred, whatever it is that they are going through. Maybe they themselves, they've been abused so badly as a kid, and the only way that they can express themselves is to abuse another person. I'm telling you, there are deep issues that abusive people go through, and that's why in the Western world, they even have help for people that are abusing others, because they believe that they also need a reform. So I will always tell anybody going through domestic violence, get yourself out. Separate yourself from that relationship, not with the intention that, oh, you know what, he's still my husband, I will go back. No, with the intention that until there is a change that has been validated and tested, systematic change, not change by mouth. They'll not call family meeting. They'll not start lying down. All his family too will lie down. We are sorry. He will not do it again. My brother, he will do it again. Until there's a systematic change. I'm sorry, okay, but I need to get this out. Until there's a systematic change, and that change will go through counseling, therapy. First of all, acceptance. I keep saying it. The process, the path to recovery starts with acceptance. If the man is not accepting that he has a problem, and they're not diving deep to find out what the problem is it that he hates women, he cannot trust women generally? Something, there needs to be a deep into what the problem, and until that thing is systematically addressed, my sister, my brother, don't put yourself in a situation where they will not come and say RIP, and your partner will move on.
Thank you. That will not be our portion.
And you may be dead mentally too.
Okay.
Yeah, I know somebody who is now a psych patient using mental drugs.
Yeah.
Because of domestic violence. So please, let's not say it may get better. Yeah, I get it. It's not every time that divorce is final. And I think I said that in my previous comment.
Separation is what we are asking. When you're separated, it doesn't mean divorce. Separation is not the same as divorce. So the separation is okay. Let's see if it can actually work. Just stay in a distance, like we're in different region. So it's just you like, okay, let's see how you can work on yourself while I work on myself. We'll see therapy in between the separation. If the guy is not, the man or the woman is not open to that, so that is when divorce is actually gonna be a topic or an option on the table. So it's not separation is different from divorce. We need to understand that. And Councillor Tayo, you're going to wrap this up, but I have Aanu for contribution, please. So after Aanu, then you can wrap it up. So Aanu Olua.
Everyone. Hello, everyone. I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay. So I just want to talk for the children. See, everything Simi and everyone has been saying, it's like, it's very true. But let me talk for children because I'm a child of a parent that refused to separate, and it's terrible. It will affect the children, I'm telling you, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. You will literally kill them. And it takes the grace of God to resuscitate them. This is what I'm saying this is because, okay, based on, let's say, it started from wrong marriage, then now marrying, and the whole thing now started. I have witnessed them, my dad, it's my mom, things like that. But they don't know that I see them right from when I was little. And I'm someone that I don't easily forget pictures of things. Like, it's very difficult. I will tell you the dates, the time, the color of clothes you wore and everything. So I remember all those moments. I remember there was a time that even when my dad sent a divorce letter, I was the one that received it. Because my mom noticed it, that I was the first person that saw the letter. I read it. The day they called family meeting, they were doing everything. I was there. But my dad now discovered that this girl knows more than enough. They said, how should I get to the room, clinical and everything? But me, I was on the staircase. I wanted to see, because what they don't know is that for the past so many years of my life, me, I've been following the story. In total. But my mom never saw it, like maybe she never noticed. My dad didn't notice. But me, I've been following them right from time to see where everything will lead to. So now imagine the number of pains, the years of pains, the years of intoxicating negative things. How that thing will literally, it has eaten up, like, to the extent that I started beating guys. Let me be very sincere. If any guy messes up around me, I will beat you. To the extent that guys now, like, literally, they don't mess up around me. Even girls, I don't care. I will eat you badly. So all those time, when my dad now discovered I already knew, he decided that, okay, you've been wanting to pursue this career. Okay, he used the opportunity to sell me out of the country in less than a month or 3. I'm telling you, he just shipped me out. So I'm saying for this lady, if you refuse to separate, look at the future. My mom was always saying it there, it's because of my children. My children, can you call my children? Your children what? Just, it's now that my mom knows better, that she always tells us now that, that part that Simi said, that the children will be the judge of the character. Yes, as my sisters, every one of us were growing up, we became the judge of character. We started praying for them. We're even wishing that, oh yeah, you people separate. We're tired. We're wishing, we're praying for it. We're even praying for my mom, because my mom lost her self-esteem. She was too patient for my liking. Too patient. And you will destroy. By the time, if not for God's mercy, by the time my mom discovered it, she discovered that it has affected literally 3 of her children, remaining 1. It has affected them emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything. And we're all dealing and we're quiet. And every time she opens her mouth, she says she regrets the day she refused to step out. The day God even sends people claiming, I'm spiritual, this and that. Pastors told her. But she decided to stick. Her mother told her. Her mother died on the matter. So what I'm saying is, for the sake of the future of your children, it's very deep. See, apart from my own life story, although I have my own life story, but one of the things that I tell the guys, suitors that come is, I'm sorry, if you're angry, get away. If you're having anger issues, get away, go and deal with yourself. It has affected me to the extent that being in a relationship is a big deal for me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to even be in it. Help the future of your children. Secure their future. I am how old now? I'm over 20 plus. Do I want to continue like this? But by the time my mother discovered it, she started pleading that she's sorry, this and that. She was crying that how she wished she would have should have done it and everything would have happened and everything. When she discovered, after 6 years, my mother discovered I was shipped away. Not because God didn't want me to go abroad with it, but based on the fact that it was on wrong motive. When she discovered it, when I told her, I remember when I started facing so many things, I told my dad what he told me. My mother started crying that see her life. That she thought she was doing it for the children, but she was destroying the future of the children. So now imagine if me and my sisters, we never had a relationship with God. I bet you today, if not for the mercy of God, in fact, I should have been in jail. Or I should have been a prostitute. Because of what use? So please, if you ever find yourself in that kind of situation, I beg of you, don't say because of your children. You are selfish. See, you are selfish. If you are saying it's because of your children, you are selfish. It's a lie. You stop using with children to lie. Because you are selfish. For children to grow, they need the right environment. A seed in the wrong environment will never grow. Try it and say, ask farmers. It will never grow. Don't snuff out the life out of your children. Forget the RIPO. The children too will die afterwards because they will ask for story. Children look at details. What killed my mom? I want to know. They want to know. So save the future. God will ask you. He will ask you. He will definitely ask you. Save yourself. Save your children. And let all glory be unto God. Enough is enough. A lot of children like me are outside. My mom's story, whenever she shares it and everything, one thing she's always like, she's grateful to God for is the fact that she opened up, like God showed her mercy. And the fact that then my mom kept insisting that I don't have anything, I hand over you people to God. Fix God, do this with God, pray with, be close to God. So imagine if my mom was never a believer or she never had a good relationship with God, that would have been the end of every one of us' future. That's my own 2 cents.
Thank you, Aanu, for sharing. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Sister Funmi, I know you want to share from the children perspective. I think we want to hear that. We want to hear that because I think most of the times, because I actually stayed in my marriage for that long because of my son and because of the uncertainty. What is going to happen ahead, I don't know. So eventually when God would have it, it just made it happen. I didn't even say I wanted to go out. He said, Auntie, it's time, come and be going to your father's house. So we actually want to hear, because now, my son actually, of course, he doesn't even know who the father is. Like, we've left since he was 1 year, and maybe he can still recognize his face, I don't know. But we really want to hear from the effect of it, because we hear this thing all the time, like, at least just say because of your children. How do you take care of these children? Please, can we please, Sister Funmi, please, I know we've actually exceeded our time, and before our panelists actually round it up for us, please, I want you to share with us from that perspective, please.
Thank you, Sister Deronge. Thank you so much. So I will just make it short. I would like to encourage everyone in this kind of situation to think of the children. So my parents have been married for about 48 years now, and they really they have a terrible marriage. Currently, they are separated, but they are married I don't understand. I just decided to get myself out of the story and not worry about them. So I'm 37 years and I can look at my life, and the impact of my parents' marriage, it's really it was God that just helped me to get out of it. So my mom, when we were really young, I knew from when I was like 5 years old that I had this thought that marriage was a terrible thing, because my mom would cry. She and my dad would fight. Imagine being 5 years old and your parents are fighting in front of you. And it has become so bad that I have to go and call my neighbors that my dad is killing my mom. And there was a time that nobody would open the door for me anymore. We're living in an estate, a Jaconde estate, like a block of flats then. And they wouldn't open the door for me anymore. And there was a time, there was a particular day I remember that I was 12 years old and no one opens the door for me anymore. And I just went into my parents' room and I saw my dad punching my mom. And I just went to the kitchen and I brought knives and I brought our omorogun that we use. I don't know, the pestle for making swallow food. And I just threw it in front of my parents and I told my dad that, what, just kill her so that when she's gone, we will not cry anymore and we will not be sad and we know that she's dead. Like, just kill her, like, just finish it. And I don't have to go and call people to stop you from beating her. It was really bad. And the thing that helped was that my dad was not working in Lagos at the time, so he would go and come back every weekend. So the times that it wasn't around, we had a good time. But on the weekends when it comes, it was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So it was really that bad. And my mom, every time during the week, she would say, oh, I'm going to go to Iboshere Road where the court is and I'm going to file for divorce. Every time she said that, we would be happy. She's going to get a divorce. And when she comes back, imagine being a child and you're like, did you get the papers? Did you file? And she said, I'm doing it for you children. You need a father. But this man was never a father to me. Even now, he has never been a father to me. And the thing that made it worse was that, so she stayed in this marriage, just round it up. She stayed in this marriage and they've had problems, and being out of the house, I don't have to worry about it anymore. I see, like, it is their decision, it's their problem, let them continue with it. But now the new problem is, like, my mom is now at the point where she's no longer dependent on my dad for money. So now she treats him with the bitterness of all the years. And we children are now forced, because we are Christians, two of us are really sick, and we are forced to love our dad. And this is someone that never loved us. So I find children have to love their dads, but now we have to be kind to him because my mom has neglected him and we have to cater for him. But it's such a difficult position. As a child of God, you should take care of your parents, but in this kind of case, it's a difficult position and we have to do it. What I actually even want to bring out is that, so my eldest brother is doing the same things that my dad did when we were young. So think of the children. He's doing the same things. He's cheating on his wife. He doesn't have a relationship with his children. So think of your children. Fine, you should focus your energy on praying for your children to become strong in the future, not maybe praying for some man that has made up his mind to kill you, that he doesn't care who you are. So it really breaks my heart. And there was I called my brother and I said, you are doing the same thing that my dad did. You're doing exactly the same thing. And he doesn't see it. So please, God will help us. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sister Tayo, I'm just going to hand over to you here. Councillor Tayo. Councillor Tayo, can you hear me?
You now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Councillor Tayo.
Yes.
Okay, please. You want to round it up for us. What's your final remarks? We need to round up now.
Okay.
And yeah, on everything we've discussed on today. Your final remarks, please.
All right, Sister Funmi, I say amen to that. And I really want to say thank you for sharing. Sister Aanu, Sister everyone, Sister Simi, everyone that has shared. Thank you so much for sharing so heartily. Thank you. And my final remark will be that as much as is possible, we are like the most important persons in the equation. We are the most important person. Sometimes when we make decisions, whether to stay or to go, we make those decisions based on how we are feeling at that point in time. We are we are we are not fine mentally. We are tense, and so we will just respond, and then we'll make the decision. So sometimes when parents are making decisions, be a woman, a man is making the decision. They're making that decision based on how they are feeling at that point in time. So I would now ask a question, especially when we have a bit of a leeway. This is speaking to parents now. When we have a leeway, the man, the woman in question, when we have a leeway, what would you rather do? Separate with therapy or separate without? If you have a choice. When children are in question, the dynamics are different. And that's a major reason why, if we have a leeway, considering being there, considering just walking through this thing, because without clarity in our minds, without our mental health, I mean, the pressure from the man is enough. The emotional is not there. From all we have shared, we have physical, we have emotional, and these things, they will stand in the way of our judgment. So please embrace therapy. Therapy will go a long way to help us stabilize. Even when we go into this therapy, it's not to say we are actually trying to consider therapy so that we may go back. That's not the conversation. The conversation is so that we are fine. And then, children are in question, so that we can see through this, even in the midst of it all. It's difficult, but with that, someone that is sitting with you, looking at it objectively, it's very important. The tension is enough. The tension is much. But 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what will matter? For you and the children in question, which is why, please, let's embrace therapy. Let's embrace that. Let's not walk alone. Let's not walk the journey alone. It's very difficult. It's very tense. Embracing therapy will help us, will just be better for us than us walking it alone and deciding whether to stay or to go. Even if you're staying, even if you're going, please, let's embrace therapy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Aderoke, because this has been very enlightening. Thank you for the opportunity to come, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for your time. So, Sister Nike, would you want to share with us your final remarks before we bring it to a close?
Yeah, it's been, I looked forward to this session, but it's exceeded my expectations. I want to appreciate everyone, every single person who's shared tonight, this morning. I have been, even though I've heard situations of domestic violence, I've seen my parents argue before. I've not seen them like actually punch each other, but I've seen them like I would say push and shove, you know. I would say maybe this was maybe the first step, or whatever you call it. But I remember it wasn't a pleasant feeling, and some of the things that I see, or that that hearing from just some of the people who have talked tonight from the perspective of the children, have been very eye-opening for me, and really, and also all the other topics we talked about before. It's been really eye-opening. Thank you for sharing, all the ladies. I know that it's hard, you know, to just relieve, you know, whatever circle it is, just to relieve those experiences. It is difficult, and I appreciate you putting yourselves out there and going into those vaults to share your deepest pains. Thank you, Sister Funmi. Thank you, Sister Simi. Thank you, Sister Aanu. Thank you, Sister Tayo, Sister Jem, everyone who's contributed, even Sister Debola, who's not here anymore, and Sister, I can't remember the third panelist's name, but I appreciate you all. I have been blessed. And my final thoughts to each and every one of us is, you know, yeah, we've talked a lot about instances where separation is important, but I also want to speak to a situation. Separation is important, but in a situation where after separation, you know, the guy or the parties involved are interested in actually working on it, as we are talking about resources that support the women, you know, or support the men, whoever has experienced some form of abuse, you know, I believe that we should also talk about, Sister Tayo has aptly talked about counseling. I think mentorship is also something that can help, you know, find an older couple that, you know, they say walk with people who have been where you want to be, you know, who can challenge you, who can encourage you with real life situations and real life experiences. Maybe, you know, if both parties are willing to work on it, find people who have come out of such experiences and who are willing to hold your hands and hold you accountable. Get accountability partners, because we talked about this systemic change too. Systemic change does not happen overnight. You know, after the change has been embraced, we need to have people who you all are accountable to, or who I am accountable to. Like, okay, if you say, you know, you also have people who you can check in with regularly to kind of check on the temperature of your marriage as you grow in this new phase of being changed people. So, you know, I want to say, you know, we don't walk alone. God didn't create us to be an island. The lie of the enemy is to say, oh, don't mix with them, or because you've been hurt, don't open yourself up to anybody. But that's all actually a tactic of the devil to isolate, to destroy. So every one of us, you know, regardless of what we have been through or what we are going through, whether it be on the topic of waiting or on this second topic we talked about very recently in these conversations, please, please, please don't walk alone. God will help us in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for having me. I have had a very, very, very amazing time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We've actually come to the end of the session. I really appreciate us. Thank you for giving us the extra 55 minutes of your time. We actually didn't see this coming, but it was, I believe it's worth the wait. So thank you so very much. Sister Shola, I want to hear your voice. I want to hear from you as well. I want to hear you say,
I just want to thank everybody, really. Thank you so much, Sister Ronke, for what you're doing. You don't know how much impact you're making in lives. And thank you so much to the panelists. You know, you guys have been amazing. And to everyone that shared, Sister Simi, Sister Aanu, Sister Priscilla, and Sister, I don't remember Fagbadebo, Mrs. Fagbadebo also. Anyway, thank you for sharing with us, and God bless you all. Keep up the good work, and keep encouraging others. Somebody once said that your ministry is in your mystery. If you want to know at times what your ministry is, look at something you've gone through. Because even it's so scriptural, the Bible says, you know, blessed be God who comforted us in our tribulation so that we can comfort others. You've gone through that thing for a reason. Don't let it be wasted. Encourage other people with it. And in the process, I think the panelists have said it all. Your healing lies in there. So thank you again, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sis. Thank you everyone for joining us. Aanu, very kissed to be. Thank you, Damilola. Thank you, Funmi, Joko, Nim, Oluseun. Oh, Oluseun in the building. Welcome, Priscilla and Simi. Thank you very much, guys. I know the men are already, they are done with theirs since 12. They are through with their own sessions in 12 noon. But this is a very, very important discussion that we had to just, of course, we can go on and on and on this topic, right? But we just have to put it come to a close. Thank you so very much. God bless us. And also, I'm just here to tell every of our women too who actually needs one-on-one conversation, who is going through one thing or the other in their relationship. I'm hoping for a conversation. I'm hoping to have a one-on-one session with us, right, in regards domestic violence or kind of abuse you can mention. I don't care. It's like, I'm so fitting. I fit in every areas of this abuse that you can actually think of. So feel free, if you want to reach out, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always open to talk, because we are here to actually help one another, to support one another, give the empathy and the love we actually needed to actually keep our life going. And I pray that God would strengthen us, God will give us wisdom to take the right decision in our lives. So we won't take the wrong one, that we will now find ourselves in a situation where from fire pan to fire or something. Yeah, God would actually grant us the wisdom we needed that is required in this journey of ours to make the right decision at all times. And God will grace us on this journey. We will not be stranded, like I would always say, because it's always very, very important that sometimes we find ourselves stuck. When you're stuck, you don't even know what to do, who to reach out to, where to go, and all of that. We will not get to that situation. God will help us. God will heal us too. For those of us that are actually still in pain, in guilt or whatsoever, God would heal us in the name of Jesus. Thank you so very much. This is actually this is one session that I really enjoyed, and it's been fantastic and amazing. God bless also. Thank you so very much, and have a blessed weekend. Ciao, ciao, everyone.